see if this is working. They changed the setup on me, everybody. Hope you're doing good. We're about to find out. Hey, look at that. All right, hope this is working. I'm Counselor Curtis. This is sort of like the Jimmy Doan Show. This is the Counselor Curtis Show. So, bear with me. Like I said, they changed the format a little bit, so I'm doing everything. But I wanted to bring you guys a little update about the whole situation here because there's some craziness going on here, as you guys know. So, let's see. I'm going to try to check and see if there's any comments going on as I go through this, but again, they've changed the format, so maybe a little difficult. This is my first time doing this like this. So, all right, first things first. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. We're doing well here. Jimmy is out of the hospital, and he's back home, although he's got to go back, which sucks, of course, because now the place is going to be contaminated with coronavirus. So we'll see. He's one of the bad candidates, obviously, being up near 80 and having prior lung health conditions and things like that. Although his new lungs, you never know. That could be good. So, but we'll see. Anyway, hope you guys are staying safe, washing your hands, social distancing and whatever, all that kind of stuff. But we got to talk about the situation here because I'm here to tell you that the current plan that they have in place, that they're affecting, that is shut down for weeks and months on end, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work on a whole bunch of different levels. This plan is going to have to be changed, and I think people are starting to wake up to that concept now. But the bottom line is you just can't change humans like that. They don't do that. Humans are creatures of habit and emotion, and they're going to continue to do what they have done for long periods of time. It's literally impossible for them to just change their behavior overnight without major psychological repercussions. So I know some of you are thinking, I already got criticized for this one time. Somebody was like, oh my God, you crazy right-wing person. You'd rather your freedom and you want people to die. No, of course I don't want people to die. Okay, my parents are very old. Relatively speaking, they're in the danger group here. I don't want them to die. I love them very much. But at the same time, you can't shut down the entire economy like the way that they've done right now. You can do it for a few weeks. People will go home for a few weeks. They'll think of it as a vacation. They can do that mental switch in their head and be like, oh, okay, I'm just on vacation for a few weeks. But after that, they're going to go freaking crazy. They're going to start, there's going to be domestic violence all over the place. It's just going to be mayhem, and it's unsustainable. First of all, it won't work. It literally won't work. The kids, first of all, will go out. Children are not going to be kept in their homes for weeks and months on end. It's just not going to happen. They're going to find a way to get out and to socialize with their friends. And when they do, they're going to be cross-contaminating just the same as if people were allowed to go out. Or not just the same, but it's going to cross-contaminate. So I know we're trying to flatten the curve, and I think that's a good idea. And I'm all on board with a few weeks staying home. Everybody take a little vacation. But you just cannot tell everybody to stop going out to restaurants, to stop going out to entertainment. They can't operate like that. People's lives, literally, just psychologically, emotionally, you can't operate like that. And it's not going to work. So that whole system is going to break down and change, and I estimate it'll be within about 2 to 3 weeks. You can get everybody through the end of March, fine, no problem. First week of April. Before May starts, everything has to reopen before May starts. And people can social distance on their own if they want to. They can stay away from other people if they feel like it. They can stay home. They can quarantine, self-quarantine, whatever you want to do. But you have to let the people who can survive this go out and live, because they won't. It won't work any other way. I mean, it just won't. So the economy also will not work that way. You cannot simply create money out of thin air and put it out there and have people accept it as something of value. I know we've been doing it for decades now, but the value of the dollar has dropped precipitously over the decades, as anyone will tell you. You guys know this. So the current course that we're on in terms of monetary policy is also unsustainable. There's no possible way that they can give everybody enough money to stay at home for the year and survive. It's just not going to work. So all of this is going to change within 30 days. That I can guarantee you that. So, and that's fine because it should. At this point, look, I know I've seen extrapolations on the deaths. I've seen numbers in the hundreds of millions, 185 million people dead if the world gets infected, okay? And that's at the current rate of lethality. As everybody will tell you, these types of viruses can mutate, like the Spanish flu mutated and became 10 times as deadly. And that could theoretically happen. If that were to happen, that would be a problem. But as you can see, there are still pockets around the globe where the virus is killing 10% of the people, at least according to the numbers that we have. Now, let me just back up and say that real quick. We don't have good numbers yet. I don't care what anybody is telling you online, all the doctors, the statisticians, whatever they're telling you. We don't have enough of a sample size yet to make accurate scientific predictions. You can make estimates, and those are great, but they can be well off. You guys may recall, we posted about the coronavirus story on March the 1st, and I posted a graphic up. I had it up the little one. Maybe it's right here somewhere. Anyway, yes. Well, that's not going to show up for you guys unless I go down here and do this. Oh, that's not it. Hey, say. All right. Well, anyway, we posted a graphic up of the coronavirus, and we plotted deadliness and contagiousness based on the reports as they were at the time. Unfortunately, they were significantly off. This disease is obviously far more contagious than we were originally led to believe. And there's still a wide range of deadliness, for anywhere from 0.2 up in Norway, 0.2% to 10% in Italy. So, I mean, that's obviously a factor of 50 times, which is not accurate if it's the same virus. I mean, you know, they talk about the populations in Italy being susceptible and all that, but well, we'll just have to see. I think we're going to find out more about this as we get through this week. This week is going to be quite telling. But even if it's as deadly as the most deadly estimates and as contagious as the most contagious estimates, we're still going to have to get back to business as usual within 30 days or so. That's just what's going to happen. So I hope you guys are fine with that. What we need really is, in terms of solutions for this, I'm going to offer my suggestions, which are libertarian suggestions, which include freedom. Okay, this is the reason that I'm advocating for freedom here is very simple. Freedom allows the collective intelligence of the population to work, to find solutions. And if you don't have that, if you have these blanket one-size-fits-all solutions, you were really operating under the intelligence of a very few number of people. And that's not a good strategy. It would be much better to have people operating independently as much as possible in this situation. By that, I mean what we should be doing is suspending certain laws and regulations which prevent people from acting as they naturally would. For example, you guys have seen the shortages of toilet paper and other products around at the grocery stores recently. There is one cause of those shortages, and that is the inability of the sellers to raise the price. If Publix were allowed to raise the price of toilet paper to $10 a roll, people would not be hoarding. You would not buy 50 rolls of toilet paper unless you really needed them, unless you had a big family. You'd buy what you needed. And that is the price mechanism which keeps things in supply. If you don't allow prices to float as demand changes, then you're going to get shortages. See Venezuela. We should not, in this country, be subject to those things. And the way to get out of being subject to those things is by allowing price freedom. We really have to allow that at this point, to allow people to price in the value of the goods and services that they need right now. So I would call for a huge deregulation in any type of price structuring, and certainly not go the opposite. We should definitely not trying to be ensuring prices. And that includes just things like wages right now. You cannot simply, as some people suggest, just send everybody checks. It's not going to work. And here's how you know. I mean, you can imagine imagine just for a second that the Fed decided to send everybody $1 million. $1 million. Just $1 million. Everybody's going to get $1 million. What would physically happen? What would physically happen? What would actually happen? They could literally change the dollars on their balance sheet and mail out cards with the money on them, with the dollars on them. They can literally legally do that right now. But what would happen is instantly prices would skyrocket. They would go through the ceiling, because why would you sell something to somebody for, let's say, $10? Let's say you had a meal that you were preparing for somebody, and there's somebody right behind him who wants to give you $50 for it. Well, shoot. I mean, if you've only got a few hours of the day that you can serve the public, you're going to serve the people who are willing to spend the $50. And if everybody's got $1 million, a lot of people are going to spend the $50 for a meal. So in other words, prices go up, and you can see that easily whenever the money supply is inflated quickly. You can't see it when it's inflated slowly, but right now it's going to be inflated pretty quickly. As everyone has probably seen, the Fed is doing enormous pumping right now. They are monetizing the debt. They're buying up everything, and those policies are going to lead to severe economic ripples throughout the economy. It's going to be bad, and these solutions that they're proposing, they're bad, and especially if they're not extremely temporary. You can have like a one-time rebate. That's fine. You can give people one check. You can't establish UBI. UBI is an unsustainable dream. It's a fantasy land. And look, I know there's a lot of people out there who believe that the government has money, but the government really doesn't have money. They just take money from people. And I know there's people out there who think, hey, well, they just need to take it from the rich people, and then everything will be fine. But they don't have that much money. That's not where the real money is. The real money is in the machine that is the creation of the money, the businesses. And if you take it from the people, whenever the government takes money, they necessarily have to take it from a successful business. So if you say something like, well, I'd like the government to stimulate business, well, realize that all of the money that they could put towards business stimulation has to come out of some other successful business. In other words, they have to destimulate an already successful business in order to stimulate whatever business it is that you think is better. And of course, we have lots of people right now with lots of opinions about which businesses need to be saved, and all those discussions are somewhat silly. But I guess we're going to get some quote unquote solutions anyway. What we need really more than anything else is sound money. That's really what we need. We really need, look, reach in your pocket right now, pull out a dollar bill that you have and look at it, and you'll see that every single dollar bill that you have is signed. It has two signatures on it. Now you may think this is just some kind of design, like, oh, we want to put some fun signatures on there. No. The reason there are two signatures on that thing in your pocket is because it was a promissory note. It is a promise to pay some amount of goods or services. In our case, it was always gold. You have to have the money. The paper itself is not worth anything. The only thing that the paper was ever worth was what it could be traded for. And that's why once we removed the backing of gold, the value has plummeted precipitously. And sure, people have lived their entire lives between 1933 and now and never had to really suffer the consequences of us coming off of the gold standard. But hold your breath, because it's coming. And the only way to get back to where we were before is with some kind of sound money. And the first country that creates sound money is going to reestablish themselves as the world's reserve currency. And if that's not us, it's going to be painful economically for us. And hopefully it will be us, but we'll see. By the way, I hope you guys don't mind. The recession means Trump loses, okay? I'm sorry. Unless this entire thing rebounds, which the chances are very, very small, he's not winning re-election. We're going to get whoever is opposing him. And it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, this entire situation with the COVID is going to change things significantly also. But even without this, people will just look up in November. They'll look around. They'll ask themselves the standard question: are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And the answer is going to be no, financially speaking. So he's going to lose. So I hope that doesn't bother you guys. Let's see. I'm just looking at notes here. I guess that's about it. Oh, one more thing on, well, I guess that's about it. Just a little test real quick to see how this goes. Hope you guys are doing well. I'll check the comments and I'll try to comment and I'll try to be back like maybe tomorrow. So we'll see. So take care. Have a good time.